Don't flamethrow Dan.
Ron, that's a little close, man.
Yeah.
No guts, no glory.
All right.
I can't walk.
America!
All right. Welcome to Fabled Hunters.
I'm Yuanji,
I'm Saint.
and today we're going to be closing out Uprising.
Yeah, we're going to look at some stuff, and we're going to close out the set of Uprising. Just like we brought in Uprising with our spoiler card, Kyloria, by Mr. Argyle here, we're going to close out on a Kyloria playmat. Where was he selling these? Was this at the team event?
In Las Vegas, maybe.
I think so. I think I got this at the team event. And I wanted to present a minimum rarity set, which I always try to keep of nearly every set. I haven't compiled all of them yet, but I did take extra time to compile Uprising because it was just such a set, right? All right, so Yuanji, where do you think, or what do you think were the really impactful cards in Uprising as we go through all of the cards?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I think all three heroes in Uprising all kind of have their own place, right? For Tomotai, I think is
That was the
best.
biggest of the three,
Yeah.
right?
You know what's kind of interesting about Flesh and Blood
Yeah.
set design is that it's hard to say, like, you know how in Magic you can say, like, oh, this is like the power mythic. But I think in Flesh and Blood all the cards kind of work together.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think you can really do it without, like, you can't play a Dromai deck without all the dragons.
All of them? But Kyloria was the best of the rare dragons, right?
Well, equally important, Chromai, Mirror
Chromai.
Guy for playing against Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah, Necri is really good.
So
Vincere.
you're going back
There's
to
all of them. They're
all of them
important.
are important.
Yeah.
All dragons matter, guys. All dragons matter. Okay.
But yeah, I think that's kind of the great thing about the way that the set is designed. I think if you're a new player trying to get into Flesh and Blood and you wanted to put together like a Dromai deck, you really need to just get a lot of the cards from Uprising.
Yep. Of course, she was featured in Uprising, right?
Well, I mean that, like, normally for a lot of other games, if you want to start off and you want to, like, build yourself a deck, you have to collect a lot of the older cards that were released prior.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, if you wanted to play Dromai, then
You can kick her off with Uprising.
yeah, you just get a
And
lot
it's
of
almost all self-contained.
yeah,
right?
yep.
The Senopais, I heard these Embermaw Senopai, these are very impactful and limited. Is that correct?
Yep, and Constructed, they have their uses.
Okay. I never played Dromai once. I'm not ashamed to say.
Yeah. So this is like her best card against Briar, for example.
Embers?
Like the Embers. Briar has a really hard time dealing with 3/1/1s.
3/1/1s. Okay. Because she can go again, but like that's 3/1/1s at a time. Something's gonna get through, and it's gonna spend all of her cards, right?
Yep.
Okay. What else? Anything else?
No, I mean, yeah, it's just all. I think almost all the cards are playable in some capacity.
Well, Phi's your main, right? Is that fair to say? Phi was your main throughout the season of Uprising.
Yeah, we definitely, me and the rest of the team that I was working with, put a lot of work into Phi.
Yep.
Again, like all the cards like have their place. Engulfing Flame Wave is like really good. Mounting Anger as like a starter.
As a starter. Okay.
Rise from the Ashes is really powerful. They're all really powerful. I would say like Phi, a little bit different from Dromai. You need some of the older cards to really like make him shine. Like you need the Art of Wars,
Okay.
E-Strikes.
So this is meta playable. I played a Phi deck. I don't remember seeing Rise from the Ashes. So.
Yeah, this card is a really nice combo with Art of War
Okay.
because the Phoenix Flame is an attack action card.
Okay.
So you play it, you give your next attack +3, and then you have a Phoenix Flame in your hand. You can banish that to Art of War. Normally, when you have to banish an attack to Art of War, it costs you like an attack.
Okay.
But this card already got you like the 3 power.
Okay.
And then it also gives you a card that you can banish.
Because it grabs you the Phoenix Flame.
Yeah.
And this is kind of deck tech. You're teching into our you're losing 0 from your Art of War, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So just like things like that, it's like reminiscent of Chain banishing a Blood Dead card, and then being able to play it. It's kind of like a similar thing. You get like the value out of it. You got your 3, and then you also get a banish.
Great. And these are all ninja specific, right?
Yeah, I mean these are like almost all the Draconic Ninja cards were just like all playable.
Okay.
That's like one of the nice things about Flesh and Blood is that most of the commons, like the commons aren't necessarily worse than the Majestics. They're just different. They have like the Majestics are a little more complicated, but the commons all have like their niche.
And we got the Furnace here. This is the first. This minimum rarity, but this is the first legendary. Shows up card 84. This is playable in both, right?
Yep. Very important for Dromai to make Ash, and then also really important for Fi to like help you win the races.
Yep.
You know, as we're like flipping through your binder, I can't help but feel like this is something that I should have been doing when I was putting together my Uprising set. Just because, like, man, it's so convenient to organize. You know, one of the things that I am learning as I have like accumulated more life experience is that doing things right at the beginning saves you a lot of hassle later on
in the future. Yep, that's why I started out with the first 3 sets. I have minimum rarity of the unlimited, so that I actually have there's 4 binders. It's 2 sets, so that myself and my kids, we can always build, you know, any 2 decks, even if it's the same deck in the future, and build from that ever-growing card pool of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I just feel, honestly, I've been playing a lot of my testing as a player for Flesh and Blood has been online, and playing online is great, but then to actually go in person, oh man, it can sometimes be a hassle because I don't have everything organized.
Oh yeah?
And I think if the next set that I open, I'm definitely gonna
do this?
Yeah, do this.
And then do it for the whole block?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a little princess. What are you doing, princess?
I'm making a treasure map.
You're making a treasure map. Okay. The joys of being a father. I just left it lingering on Blaze Headlong, because this almost became a meme by the casters.
Oh, Blaze Hedgehog?
Blaze Hedgehog. Was this very impactful? Because it looks like a 0 for 4, similar to Snatch.
Yeah,
but
it's kind of like a Scar for Scar.
Oh, okay. Because it's got Go Again, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like a Scar for Scar type card. There's some drawbacks in terms of how sometimes it'll make your hands a little awkward.
Okay.
But, you know, overall, very powerful card. Scar for Scar always.
You're always playing reds too, right?
Yeah.
For his attacks?
Well, there's only... Yeah. You play a lot of reds.
Yep.
So, I mean...
So this is almost always Go Again, right? So it's not that awkward, and it doesn't take any resources. Okay. Anything else? Was Lava Burst playable?
Oh man, dude, Lava Burst is like one of his best cards. So like normally for Flesh and Blood, like the default rate on a card is usually like 3. So we'll say like a card like Nimblism that gives you 3 attack.
Okay.
Head Jab, that's 3.
Yep.
Lava Burst is 5.
Okay.
So it's worth almost 2 cards.
Got it.
And then like Flame Call Awakening, I wanted to hide. This card also kind of nuts. I think everybody has learned that Belittle is really strong.
Okay.
But Flame Call Awakening, tutoring you like a card can be just as strong as like a Belittle type of effect. I think any type of card that lets you tutor a card in addition to like doing something.
Okay. You're getting card value. Although the Phoenix Flame is a small card, it adds 1 link to your chain, and if you're doing some crazy stuff like an Art of War turn, then this just extends that turn.
Yeah,
right?
And then one of the things that we kind of learned as we went along is that the Phoenix Flame, just being a card, has some value, so you can do stuff like banish it to Art of War.
Okay.
You can put it on the bottom to pay for your Enlightened Strike. So even though maybe it just attacks for 1, if you put it on the bottom with the Enlightened Strike, then your Phoenix Flame turns into like 3 damage.
Okay.
Adding on to the Enlightened Strike.
Yep.
So there's a lot of cool little like interactions that I think was one of the great things about the set, that it was self-contained but also had a lot of interplay with some of the cards from the previous sets as well.
Of course.
Icelander, we can talk about Michael Hamilton winning
Champ.
Yeah, with
The
Icelander.
National champ and then world champ off of Icelander, right?
Yeah, and then talking about interaction with old cards, very surprising. Icelander interacts very well with Wounded Bull,
Okay.
a common from Welcome to Wraith.
Yep.
And that just goes to show you that Flesh and Blood's not a game that's all about putting like a lot of power in the rares. That's just a common. It's like a common from Welcome to Wraith. You can, if you find like the right person, they'll just give them to you for free.
Yep.
They just have a lot of them lying around. If you have to buy them, whatever, you spend like a quarter, you get a play set.
But also the interactivity between the different sets. It's like a living, breathing game, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be competitive at the top levels, you've got to think about the card pool as a whole, right?
And so, who knew pairing a wizard with these big attacks?
Generic attacks.
Yeah,
right.
ends up being really good. Aether Ice Vein, this card is so good it got banned from Blitz.
It actually got banned.
Yeah, this card is banned in Blitz.
I saw some other content about it. I think Steven from DM Armada was mentioning it as well, and other content creators, I'm sure. I didn't play enough. Why? It's just 3 for 5.
Yeah, but it's kind of like a crippling crush if you think about it, because like your opponent's not going to block it all out, and they have to discard a card. So instead of a crippling crush, you pitch 2 cards, you play it, you attack for 11. This one, you pitch 1 card, you attack for 5, you make him discard 1 instead of discarding 2.
Okay.
So it's just like, it's like another...
Is it good enough that you play 2 colors or no?
Oh yeah, dude, if you're playing Icelander, you play all 9 right now.
All 9?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, because very rarely will the opponent have 3 arcane damage, or is it because they have 3 arcane pieces that they'll just have to at least pitch blue for blue? Is that the logic behind it?
Yeah, it's like there's some interactions with this card plus Insidious Chill, so it fuses, so the Insidious Chill is going to make them discard.
Okay.
And this is going to hit again, making them discard. It does damage on their turn.
Okay.
The blue version, at least. The red version and the yellow version just like help you reduce the amount of damage that your opponent can do back to you, which is real big for Icelander. I would say that Icelander, most of her power in the set comes from all the blues that got printed, and we found out through experience that a lot of the reds that they printed, the arcane damage reds, aren't as important other than Aether Ice Vein.
Other than Ice Vein.
But you know, like that's like one of those things where maybe there will be a spot to play these reds in the future depending on what additional support they come out with.
Anything else here that you want to highlight? Frost Hex? There was a whole deck build of Icelander around Frost Hexes, right?
Yeah, it's just, it gives you that like reach in the end game. If your opponent's trying to like block you out, play inefficiently, it gives you a way to just combo them out at the end of the game.
Okay. But I've seen OTK Frost Hex Icelanders, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can, it's like a 2-card OTK. You just get the Frost Hexes out, and then you just need one other card, which is Ice Eternal.
Oh.
So you play like Ice Eternal your turn, then you play an Ice Eternal their turn, and it's curtains.
Okay. Cool. Anything else from Icelander that
Yeah, I
you
mean,
want
like
to
all
highlight?
these cards are playable in blue.
All these in blue? Ice Bolt? Frosting?
Yeah, I think Wells did a good job on building in the synergy. I think a lot of the classes in this game, all they're really missing is like consistency of their synergy.
Okay.
And I hope that they continue this trend in the future where some of the talent heroes that they introduced in the past might have benefited just from like a raw like talent card. If you want to go back, so like yeah, I just want to talk about this point is like Ice Bolt, right? It's the same as like a Voltic Bolt, except they can do damage to any target. It's not anything special, but it just has that ice tag. And because it has that ice tag, you can use it to fuse. It makes a frostbite.
It blocks for 3 if you need to.
Yeah,
right?
It makes a frostbite when you play it on your opponent's turn with Icelander. And it's just like having the ice tag, like if they had made cards for Lexi that was just like a lightning arrow and it has no other text, it's just like it just does damage and it's lightning.
That would already charge up Lexi. That would make her more powerful.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And it just speaks to how intricate the synergies are, that you just like bump up the consistency a little bit and you get a lot of
that tunes the deck, makes it smoother, makes less awkward interactions, like for example Lexi or Hunter Ranger, is it Ranger? Yeah, Ranger. Yeah. You got, stuck if you played multiple elements.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So I think it gives me a lot of excitement for what kinds of cards they could release in the
So,
future.
so just to stick on this point really quick,
Yeah.
does that mean that Uprising was a better designed set than Tales of Aria? Or was it that you think they were intentional about Tales? They didn't want to pump up the power levels too much with Lexi back then?
That's a good question. I think that Tails is probably, for Limited, a better designed set than Uprising.
Oh, it was a fun Limited. I played the crap out of Tales Limited.
Yeah,
Ball Lightning was... Oh man, R.I.P. Ball Lightning.
Yeah, but I think Uprising for Constructed makes the characters more complete.
Okay.
That's how I would describe it. I think Oldhim, out of all the Tales of Aria cards that they printed, is the most complete hero. Briar's obviously very good, but Briar plays a lot of just like
Jank.
generics.
Yeah. Briar's put anything together and make it work.
So it's not really
And
like a
Rosetta
Tale.
Thorn.
I wouldn't call that a Tales of Aria like thing, but I think all of the Uprising heroes, all three of them, really are kind of complete.
Okay. On that note, since Briar can get by, Oldhim was complete, does that mean Lexi got the short end of the stick, kind of like Azalea did?
Yeah, I believe so. I think Lexi definitely could stand to benefit from having some more tools printed just to buffer consistency. She does some pretty powerful things, just not at the same like consistent level that other people can.
Yep. Ghostly Touch. What's the deal with that card? It just always got hate. Was it any good, or was it viable at any time, or do you think there's future applications for it?
It's playable right now as like a sideboard strategy. I think that it's definitely very powerful. This card plus Semblance is like a nice little combo. We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Semblance removes the Phantasm from an attack. So there's some instances where you can get your Ghostly Touch like 20 or something. You attack for 20, they block, try to pop it, you play the Semblance, they take a ton of damage.
As an instant. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And it's like, I think that Ghostly Touch definitely is a great tool, just not fully...
Needs more time? Needs more Illusionist cards to come out?
Yeah, needs more support.
Okay.
Ghostly Touch, I think, would be really great in, for example, in Prism. If you played it in a like Herald's build, because Prism has a card like Blinding Light, where you can like minus the attack of something, and it's a little bit more easy to play than Semblance. Semblance in Dromai is like a little bit harder to play.
Okay.
I don't know. There's just like
We'll see what happens in 2023 when they have a second Illusionist, or a second Light Illusionist out, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is basically just Ira's ability on a piece of gear, right? More or less?
Yeah, kind of. It's just like very powerful. It provides a lot of value over the course of the game.
Consistency, and provides value almost every play, right?
Yeah,
If you're
yeah.
fine, almost every round.
Yeah, over the course of the game. Gives you a lot of damage. I think combos really well with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx.
But
from
isn't that
Everquest.
banned? I heard that was banned because it's
In
too
Blitz,
good.
in Blitz.
In Blitz. Okay.
Maybe it'll get banned in CC in the next update. We'll see.
Hope you and Dan make some use of it before it goes out.
Yeah. I think all these cards saw play. Rapid Reflex, not really, but Double Strike and Take the Tempo definitely saw play in like a lot of fly decks.
Okay. Double Strike with Art of War, right? You get more value out of it?
Yep.
Okay. Alluvian, I saw this getting played deep in the Icelander matches, right?
Yeah, it's really good for the mirror. It's really good against like Viserai.
Okay.
Heroes that just consistently do arcane damage. Very strong against. This is the only card that Kano can play that just kills a Tumultai by itself.
Really?
Yeah, because Kano doesn't have access to any other cards that just do 4 to any target.
Really?
Yeah.
Doesn't Kano have 5 things, or like
They all do damage to target hero.
Aether Wildfire?
They all do damage to target hero.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
This is the only thing that does damage to any target.
But is this playable? Is this played a lot in Kano, or not really?
I don't know if it's played a lot in Kano, but it's just a fun little piece of trivia.
Okay. It's cool. The more you know.
Yeah.
Anything else from here? Are we off to the big one?
No, let's go. Let's keep going.
This is the big one.
Yeah.
Right? This is probably one of the most impactful cards. Probably the most impactful card of the set of Uprising, right? And Same guy, Steven DM Armada, said this was probably the second most impactful card in 2022 in all of Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, I
Right?
definitely agree. I think that if you look in the history of Flesh and Blood in terms of ways that you try to interact with your opponent, hitting their arsenal, preventing them from playing setup plays is definitely like a big one.
Yeah, there's a soft counter to Command and Conquer.
Yeah,
right?
and everybody for the longest time was like, they will never print a better card than Arcanite Skullcap. And
here it
then
is.
they printed this card,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, nobody's playing Arcanite Skullcap. Now, Skullcap is still better in some instances,
Yeah,
but
still has some fringe uses, right?
yeah, but Crown of Providence, man, it makes me like think that even, let's say we're 5 years, 10 years down the line, I can see, even if none of the heroes from the set are playable at all because of power creep or whatever,
Yep.
I think that this set will still be valuable because of Crown of Providence.
That's fair. And Crown of Providence is really, really valuable. I think the Rainbow Foil, I had the opportunity to scoop it up and complete my goals on as a collector when these were 160 or 180 a piece, which was their low. I'm hearing now they're close to 300. Is that?
I don't know. That's what I know that it's Pro Quest season.
Yep.
A lot of people are scrambling to get cards for the deck. Everybody kind of needs a Crown of Providence, so
Yeah. That's
I
fair.
can
That's
see it
fair.
happening.
You could see it. You could see it. Erase Face. Was it overhyped or
I
what
don't
do
know.
you think?
It's seeing a little bit of an uptick recently because
Dash?
Yeah,
Right?
it's Dash. I think Erase Face is kind of like Command and Conquer, not as good because of the 2 block, but it has one of those kinds of evergreen-ish effects.
Okay.
Where, like this kind of an effect will always have some use case depending on what heroes are good.
Okay.
So I think pretty cool design overall.
What about this one? That all you got? This is supposed to be big, right?
Yeah, it's also like very strong against certain situations.
Okay.
Obviously, best if your opponent attacks with a 2-power attack. You just do it. You get a free 2 block. Getting here's another way to think about it. If you get a free 2 block, it's the same as playing a Lava Burst for 5.
Really?
Just let that sink in.
Let that sink in. Okay, because it replaces itself and it soaks up to 3.
No, yeah, but if you block 2 and you draw a card, it's the same as attacking for 5 with a card.
Because you're using the value at 3. You're getting 2 free, basically, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. I gotta say, even I know that Findal's Fighting Spirit is a big-ass, important card. This is like one of the tentpole cards of this set.
Kind of
right?
innocuous, I think, at first, where everybody kind of knew that Findal's Fighting Spirit was very strong and limited, but nobody really, I guess, appreciated the constructed implications of this card.
Okay.
This card is just like similar to Wounded Bull, just like value on a stick.
Okay.
So
Because it's 3 for 8,
Yeah.
essentially.
and one of your friends, one of my friends, Fluke.
Yep.
He got the strategy how to beat Olden with Dorinthia. Everyone thought it was impossible. You just play these.
Really?
Yeah, you play these. You play Wounded Bulls.
Okay.
And it's pretty funny because cards like these that I think are great designs because they're just like evergreen tools because they're generic. Everyone can use them. I don't know if Guardian becomes the menace. Like everybody has access to these cards to put into their deck. I think it's great overall for the game to help keep things in balance. And it's at rare, so they're not that expensive.
Yep. This is just made a comeback, right? It's fun that they reprinted Scar.
Yeah, Scar for Scar. Kind of iconic.
Yeah.
In terms of the game. It's just, it can't beat that rate.
Yep.
Was it in the Ira deck?
I don't know if it was in the Ira deck. It was definitely in WTR, that's for sure, right? It's weird. I don't think they printed this in Rainbow Foil.
No, they did not.
You're definitely sure, right?
Yeah,
that's what I remember.
I'm sure.
It's really strange. This has something to do. This signals something towards the reprint policy, I think, right? If this is the only one, the only non-foil that they didn't print in Rainbow Foil.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think all the cards have some place.
And this is a big one too, right?
Yeah, great sideboard tool against things that maybe like you can't interact with defense reaction like Command and Conquer. You block 6, they pummel it, you have Oasis Respite, you can prevent the damage.
Just as a catch-all, just in case, oh crap type of reaction
they come at you with arcane damage, you can use Oasis Respite to block it.
So, I heard again, this card is almost like a 3 of, the red version is a 3 of, as a B-side to Sink Below, right?
I would say that right now, Sink Below is objectively better.
Okay.
And because of it doesn't cost
The
one.
deck, the extra information, and then it doesn't cost.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't cost one. But I can see a world where Oasis Respite is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if Kano style combo decks
Mm-hmm.
are much more prevalent, then Oasis Respite as an instant may be much more useful.
Yep.
And we're at
To close out, the Blood of Drakai. This thing came out even in Rainbow Foil.
Yeah.
The card was like $500 week 1,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Like, what happened to this card? Why did it fall off by so much? How come this Gem Fabled and the Everfest Gem Fabled just, they looked so strong when coming out? Where did this go wrong? Right?
I think it has to do with the fact that the gems just aren't really what the game is about, at least right now.
Right now.
Like, they can't ever really make the gems too good because then everybody would need a Fable, right?
Yep.
The gems are really cool. And I think right now, the way that the game is played, it's just so much about efficiency and combinations.
Okay.
And it's just not consistent enough. Maybe if you could play 3 Blood of the Drakais, you could build around it.
Okay.
But you can only play 1. And...
But doesn't this fit in Phi? Doesn't it fit in Dromai?
Not really.
Because you're getting 4 value. You're pitching for 1 and you're getting 3 value back. And
Yeah, but only if you're planning to play a bunch of things that cost 1.
okay. Well, they just cost 1 Oh, because Phi has a lot of zeros, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Who knows? Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe it'll get played in some Emperor decks. 'Cause
Yeah.
Emperors are all red.
Emperors are all red. That's true. And I just have a page of Phoenix Flames. And that's it for our minimum rarity playsets. They're really important. And before we left, I just want to give a sneak preview on little project I'm working on. I did mention in my Modern Horizons bulk video
Yeah.
that I had always, when I respect a set of something, I always pick the best condition cards and I put them aside. I fully do not expect that I'm going to grade 12 Dromais,
Yeah.
but I did make sure that out of the 258 boxes of Uprising that we had opened, that I selected, well, I picked everything out in a pile, and probably for 6 weeks or more, I spent time selecting the best candidates to put into a binder, and here are the best candidates. I would
Okay.
confidently say each one of these in non-foil are in that 9.5 or better range,
Yeah.
or at least out of a stack of, call it 300 or more commons, that I picked the nicest one. Not even just commons, like obviously the Majestics I didn't have 300 to pick from, but
Yeah.
these are the 12 best. So so far I've put together the non-foils, all the non-foils, and I'm trying to complete the set in in a 12 of every single rarity type. We didn't pull all of them. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to buy at least 12 Tamaltai Marvels.
Yeah.
And I was short, because they're short printed,
Yeah.
the Crown of Providence cold foils.
Yeah.
But just wanted to feature, the first 40 and give food for thought. If we were going to complete such a massive project, I still don't have a name for the set yet. Because one of every rarity of every rendition is a master set, right?
Yeah.
So what would be a 12 page of everything?
12 pack.
A 12 pack? I don't know, a 12 pack. You know what? Let's leave that up to the viewers.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to call Hemel and request some assistance with finishing this project. So far, I've only handled the non-foils, and I also could use some suggestions on how we are going to handle the presentation of all the rarity styles. So yeah, waiting community feedback, waiting viewer feedback. Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know if you guys feel that Yuanji left out some key cards. I think we covered most of the bases, right? For Uprising. And hopefully this will serve as a great send-off to a very, very important set in the history of Flesh and Blood.
That's all we have for today.
Yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe, support us on Patreon if you like what you're seeing and you want to get into the monetization side. Twiddle that notification button, and we'll see you next time. Bye!